Hello, everyone, and welcome to Draper. Today, we'll be talking about the 10 things that I found in the Epstein files that I thought were very concerning. And I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe for future content. And thank you all for watching. Cannibal, number 10. Cannibal was mentioned in the Epstein files a lot of times, which is extremely odd and dark if they're referring to eating children or adults. It's extremely scary. This is odd because it's mentioned in emails with Woody Allen, referring to eating hearts and bones, and it's even more frightening because Woody Allen has such a dark past. Woody Allen had a scandal in the 90s where he started dating his ex-wife's adopted daughter, Soon Yi. There were allegations made by his ex-wife and his adopted daughter, Dylan Farrow, in which Dylan Farrow stated that Woody Allen may have assaulted her at some point when she was young. Epstein says in a message to Woody Allen, "He didn't just cause heartburn, he ate them." Woody Allen responds, "Thanks, at least I'm thinner." Epstein responds, "It's because you also ate the bones, providing fiber." Woody Allen responds, "I don't like waste." What in the fuck are they referring to with that? I mean, it's pretty obvious to me that they're referring to hearts and bones, as stated earlier. So it's extremely frightening, and I think this needs to be investigated further, but I'm sure it won't because the rich and powerful don't get investigated. Before we close out the first part of number 10, I do want to talk about a restaurant which is oddly named the Cannibal Restaurant, owned by Francis Derby, and it looks like he was a chef for Epstein. To me, it seems as if they were close pals, and in some of the emails they do talk about Derby maybe coming over to Epstein's house and showing Epstein and some of his pals how to make jerky and other different types of meats. Seems a bit odd to be referenced in emails. Why couldn't that just been a phone call, say, "Hey, I'm having some people over, can you come over and cook me some food?" That seems a little bit more realistic than emails about jerky and other different types of meat at a restaurant called Cannibal, which is oddly named. This was a restaurant that was in Manhattan, and it has since closed, and they do still have one location open in Dubai, which take that for what it's worth. Now we're going to go on to section 9. Number 9, whoops in the emails. Whoops in the emails is very strange to me because he usually says whoops when it refers to somebody's untimely death in the news or some different type of death that, he could have potentially caused. Who knows? Ornella was R-worded is one of the emails that I saw that I thought was a bit strange, and I believe Ornella may be in reference to a woman named Ornella Corazza, allegedly. Ornella is a researcher to this day and has a degree in pharmaceutical sciences and biological sciences, which is someone Epstein may have wanted to keep close to him, even if something negative happened to her in his past. That's the kind of stranglehold Epstein had on his victims. Another email where Epstein says oops, it begins with Epstein saying the word whoops, and then another person responding, "No one will lie to you and get away with it. Whoops is correct." And then it says, "I give you permission to kill them." That is stated very bluntly, as far as I'm concerned, in an email like this, where it could potentially get out at some point. They felt that it was okay, and they felt protected enough to say, "I give you permission to kill." Who would say something like that is what I've been wondering. And I've done a little bit of research. It looks like the word Olga is in the files under or close to this email, and it looks like that person may have been Olga Donskova. I hope I'm saying that name right. Even though this name is redacted, this person still was giving Epstein permission to kill. Thank you to the FBI for that. They're basically saying nothing to see here, and that's very scary. Olga is closely related to Epstein in different databases, so it seems as if this Olga have been the one to tell him that, hey, I give you permission to kill. Why would she be the one to give that permission? I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever get that information or any of the other information that I'm going to talk about today, because the powerful and the elite want to keep this hidden from us. I believe that's why it took so long to turn these files over to us, and it's quite evident that they do not want us to have most of the information that's in this file. The next thing we're going to talk about is cloning. Number 8 is cloning. Epstein had discussions with scientists about cloning and advancing cloning to potentially have a human clone at some point. To the normal person watching this, that may seem insane and so far off from a possibility, but the fact of the matter is they can clone animals, they can clone dogs, they've cloned goats. So potentially Epstein could have tried to clone himself, and maybe that's how he found a way out of prison, by a clone. Who knows? I mean, anything is possible. In this email, Epstein says to a redacted individual, "Sorry you can't make it. Did the cloning issue give you pause?" Now, I can't imagine what that would mean. Maybe he's talking to somebody about what their thoughts are on cloning. But again, this is something that seems that, that it might be possible. And in the future, we may see that it happens, and we may come back and think about Epstein. Who knows? But it's something scary to think that Epstein could have got his hands on something like this and potentially would have used it for evil. Number 7. Was Jeffrey Epstein a Mossad agent or a CIA agent? It is widely believed that he was, but Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Robert Maxwell, was a well-known media tycoon with possible ties to the Mossad. Could Ghislaine Maxwell have been Jeffrey Epstein's handler, and maybe that's why she's still alive to this day? It's just speculation. I don't really know, but it seems weird that he could potentially be dead and she is alive, and they both committed the same crimes. They both know the same amount of information. It's quite weird. But if her dad was a Mossad agent, even though there's speculation that he was taken out, they may keep her alive for unknown reasons. In 2020, a confidential informant claimed that Epstein was a Mossad agent, and it leads me to believe that he could potentially be, if a confidential informant is saying that. Epstein had his hands in a ton of dirty business, and there are concerns that he influenced campaigns in Israel. I mean, all of those things make me believe that he could potentially have been a Mossad agent or ties to the Mossad. Also, it's very strange that with the 2007 incident, it was reported that attorney Alex Acosta was told to back off from prosecuting Epstein. There was a quote somewhere that said he was told to back off because he belongs to intelligence. This came after his sweetheart deal, in which he was allowed to leave jail and go to work for up to 6 days at a time, and he only served 18 months. During that time, a victim also said that they were abused by Epstein. With all those facts and his enormous wealth, and we know what the media says, it came from the fact that he was a financial advisor and he helped other rich people with taxes and things of that nature. The speculation on my part is that he is in some way connected to the Mossad or the CIA or both. He could have been playing both sides of the court. The fact of the matter is he was just able to get away with things for so long in the United States with no real repercussions. Number 6 is the victims in Florida. From my research, I saw anywhere between 36 to 80 young girls in total that were victimized between the ages of 14 and 17. The Palm Beach police reported the abuse of about 36 children, and Epstein walked away with barely any repercussions for that situation. Epstein was a master of manipulation, and he could do it to adults. So imagine the extent to what he could do to young children with his manipulation skills. The way these children must have felt must have been absolutely horrible. And to top it all off, they were recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell, who was a female. And most young women in general, feel safe surrounded by other women. Women will protect women. And in this case, Ghislaine used that to her advantage to recruit young women and then have those young women recruit other young women. And it just shows that Ghislaine, is pure evil. What these two were doing with the victims in Florida was basically a pyramid scheme of sexual abuse. And it's truly not fair to the young victims that were in Florida. I really do feel terrible for all of the victims, but there's only one thing we can do, and that's work for the future to make sure that things like this don't happen again. And that's why all of the channels who are covering the Epstein situation really are important to keeping the next generation safe. With that being said, I'm going to move on to the next part, which is part 5, gene editing. With the gene editing aspect of this, Epstein was emailing with former Bill Gates advisor Boris Nikolic about gene editing. These emails, to me, seem like they wanted to modify with either adding or removing or altering DNA from a genome. Again, this is not something that I know much about, but according to the World Health Organization, this is something that can be done. With that being said, these emails seemed as if Epstein was looking for prices or information to help him make an educated decision on whether or not he wanted to move forward with this. Epstein clearly states in an email, George is asking for $27 million. What would you like me to do? And he's responding to Boris Nikolic. Another strange aspect of this story is that Epstein wanted to give his entire estate over to Boris Nikolic. Nikolic obviously refused these duties, probably because of how it would have looked as far as him taking this money from such a predator. But Epstein's estate was signed over to Darren Indike and Richard Kahn. And these two men, there is speculation that they must have known the crimes that were happening because they were part of his legal and financial affairs. So they must have known what was going on. And now these men were able to take over Epstein's entire estate. 4 is the victims' names being released. In the files, the victims' names were released by the FBI. Is insane to me, being that the criminals' names were redacted for the most part. Nearly 100 victims' names were released. That is sloppy work by the FBI, and this is the cause of them exposing photos, emails, and other identifying information of victims, which could have potentially put some of these victims in serious danger. These names were later taken down by the FBI 24 to 36 hours later, but it makes you wonder, how could this happen in such a high-profile case? It just boggles the mind. Number 3 on this list is torture. Epstein mentions torture repeatedly in the emails, but one email with a man named Tancredi Marchiolo, Epstein says, "Do you want me to try to do her or just torture her?" Why was something like this said? To me, sometimes people say about these files that things could be misinterpreted or taken another way or taken out of context, but I don't think something like this should have ever been said regardless, because to me, they're torturing people, and powerful men being able to torture and kill women with no repercussions is absolutely horrific. This Tancredi fellow operates at a high level. He works in finance and deals in politics, and he does it with very little scrutiny because he stays out of the public eye mainly. We may never get the information that we need about these scary emails about torture, but you never know. Something could come to light at some point where we find out more about these horrific emails. But the next part of this, part 2, is the Zorro Ranch. And many victims have stated that the Zorro Ranch was the worst part of this experience with Epstein. There is new information out there now that says Epstein may have buried 2 foreign girls on the ranch, and that is being investigated currently. Many victims have come forward and said they were abused at the ranch. I don't understand why more wasn't done. Epstein bought this ranch in 1993, and if he had to register as a sex offender when he was arrested back in 2008, maybe more things could have been done in New Mexico to prevent young girls being brought to the ranch in some way, or his neighbors may have reached out and said, hey, listen, we see weird things going on, and we see that this guy is a sex offender. What can we do? Number one, powerful people and famous people are everywhere in the Epstein file. Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, Prince Andrew, Richard Branson, owner of Virgin Mobile, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, Kevin Spacey, Howard Lutnick, Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary, Steve Bannon, Trump's advisor in his first term, Ehud Barak, former Prime Minister of Israel, Sarah Ferguson, ex-husband of Prince Andrew, Stephen Tisch, co-owner of the Giants, Casey Wasserman, president for the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles, Larry Summers, Clinton's Secretary of Treasury when Clinton was president, Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google, Harvey Weinstein, Jay-Z, Chris Tucker, and Pusha T. A victim claims that Weinstein and Jay-Z assaulted her on multiple occasions in Epstein's Florida mansion. In an FBI document, the victim states that she was drugged, taken to parties, and abused by Epstein, Weinstein, and Jay-Z. The drugs that she was given clouded her memory, but she believed that Pusha T may have been one of her handlers, allegedly. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. This wasn't an easy one to make with looking through the files and finding some of the finds. It really is a sad state that Epstein was able to get away with some of these crimes for so long. But I do want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and leave a comment underneath and let us know what you think about some of these terrible acts that were done by Jeffrey Epstein. So thank you again, and thanks for watching.